All Renegades of Puck to the trenches. It's time for Renegades of Puck TV. Welcome to the bunker. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Sonye. Remember, you can always get all information and access to the Renegades of Puck by going to renegadesofpuck.com. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you out there for following along on all of our social media platforms. Over 100 subscribers now to our YouTube channel, and that is where you can primarily find Renegades of Puck TV. But you can also find us on other social media platforms. We are streaming live on Twitch. That's where you get your behind-the-scenes look at what happens here in the bunker, and any mistakes that we might make goes out right there on our Twitch channel. We also do some bonus content to give you extra motivation and extra reasons to go ahead and jump on that stream and follow us along right there. Twitter, very easy to follow us at Renegades of Puck. Facebook, give us a like. And of course, remember, incredible partners here of the show. You can be one of them. Just go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen right now or go to Venmo and search Renegades of Puck, and you can go ahead and make a small donation to help keep us moving forward. Every dollar we make for this first year, we're going to reinvest into the show to continue making things better. So we sure do appreciate each and every one of you already. Some incredible donations coming from the Renegades of Puck out there. You don't have to own a business. You don't even have to be here in the Tennessee area to help support independent hockey coverage, to support the Renegades of Puck, like our fantastic partners, Rebirth Sports, making me look great in this jersey right here, and they can do the same for you and meet all of your hockey needs. More than just jerseys, they're hockey tailors, and I look forward to sharing with you a lot of great things coming up in the very near future between the Renegades of Puck and Rebirth Sports. But there's one thing I can tell you for sure, right? Rebirth Sports has always made me look incredible. Stripe Digital Solutions. Finally, sweet hockey Jesus, I got it right. I am just incredibly proud to be in business with Stripe Digital Solutions, taking care of everything from our website needs to designing the logo that you see on the wall behind me, and also helping me update brand new things for our store. You can find brand new merchandise, including our alternate logo right now. So Stripe Digital Solutions, thank you so much for your partnership. What we are doing here at Renegades of Puck TV is happening because of your generosity. And Strong Style Fit, over 150 live and on-demand workouts right now from a certified personal trainer. You can catch up with Tracy anytime by searching Strong Style Fit. From beginner to expert, she has workouts for every level. Trust me, it's donation-based, and you'll want to get involved. Jump in the trenches with Strong Style Fit, because Strong Style Fit jumps in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Appreciate each and every one of you, Renegades of Puck, for jumping in the trenches. And remember, the grievance line's always open for you. Picked up a new voicemail this morning and always looking to add more. 615-640-0916, 615-640-0916. Go ahead and leave us a message. That line is open 24 hours a day, and we look forward to hearing from you. It doesn't matter if you have a grievance or not. Maybe you have something great to say about UC Saros' performance tonight. Maybe you've got something to say about the Edmonton Oilers in advance of tomorrow. We would love to hear from you on the ROP grievance line. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you for participating in that. After all, how often do you even get asked your opinion on things anymore? We've got a lot to get to. We have a full game recap, detailed information and statistics of everything that happened in Calgary coming up in just a couple of minutes. Mostradamus will be here with the breakdown of what happened between the pipes. A huge night for UC Saros. We talked about it on the briefing. UC Saros was going to have to be larger than he has been this entire season. In the first period alone, he did that tonight in Calgary. Full recap coming up in just a few minutes. You give me 10 minutes, I'll give you the game. You give us 10 additional minutes, and the Renegades of Puck will give you all of the analysis, statistics, and opinions you can possibly handle. But let's get you all set up for everything that's happening with a quick turnaround. Your fourth place in the Central Division, Nashville Predators, now after 9 games, a current record of 5-4. That has them sitting at 10 points, 2 points behind a trio of teams, St. Louis, Winnipeg, and Minnesota in the Central Division. The Nashville Predators on the road are 2-1. They're going into Edmonton after defeating the Calgary Flames less than 24 hours later and taking on the new first-place team in the Pacific Division thanks to the Preds' efforts just last evening. And the Edmonton Oilers, after 8 games played in the season, are 7-1. They have 14 points, and that is the most points in the Western Conference. On home ice, 4-1, dominant, and this is a house of horrors for the Nashville Predators. They've scored 34 goals on the season, only giving up 21. It's a goal differential of plus 13. St. Louis actually has a goal differential of plus 14. That's the only thing stopping Edmonton from being virtually number one in every statistical metric in the standings. The season series for the Preds, this is the first of 2 trips to Edmonton. It will be January the 27th when the Preds are back in Edmonton, and then we will see the Oilers here in Nashville all the way on April the 14th. I'm I'm betting that's going to be a very important game on the schedule. For the Preds, besides this game in Edmonton, back-to-back Calgary and Edmonton, the road trip just rolls on. Next, another building where the Nashville Predators classically have had difficulties. Friday night in Vancouver, that's where you will get your very late start. We'll be here on Renegades of Puck TV breaking it down right afterwards. Sunday in Chicago for the first time this season, and then on the 10th of November at Dallas. Follow that up the next day on the 11th at St. Louis, and that will wrap up the road trip. But the Preds will be back on the road pretty quickly after a quick one-game homestand against the Arizona Coyotes of the Central Division. The Edmonton Oilers with a record of 7-1. You know that they've been red hot as of late. So let's take a look at just the most recent five. On the 21st of October, it was a 5-1 win at Arizona. Then they followed that up the next night with a 5-3 win at Vegas. Came home and lost to the Philadelphia Flyers on the 30th of October. It was a 2-1 win at Vancouver, and their most recent game was on the 1st of November, a 5-2 win versus the Seattle Kraken. Koskinen 27 of 29 in that game for the victory, and the Oilers are back on the ice Friday night at home versus the New York Rangers. Going inside the numbers for these two teams, everything looks impressive when you talk about the Edmonton Oilers. Their goals for it, 4.13, is third best in the NHL. Goals against at 2.63 is 11th. Shots for 32.8 is also 11th. Shots against now. This is a number I've not been able to say before in statistical rankings. They are 32nd in the NHL. 32nd. 35.1 shots against, and of course, special teams, as you would expect with those top two. They are absolutely dominant. Their power play is converting at a very sick 46.2% on the season. That's best overall in the NHL, or 12 out of 26. And their penalty kill unit's not far behind, only giving up 2 power play goals against on the season. They are ranked third best in the NHL at 91.3%. Looking inside the numbers for the Nashville Predators, their goals for 2.78 is 17th in the NHL. Goals against is 2.67. That's 12th best in the league. Shots for at 28.9 is 27th. Shots against at 31.4 is 18th. The Nashville Predators power play is maintaining a top 10 metric at this point in the season. They are 9th best in the league at 25%, 7 out of 28. The penalty kill unit has given up 7 power play goals against, 78.8%, but still holding in there and doing a very good job for the Nashville Predators on the season. Taking a look inside the stats for the Edmonton Oilers, and you already know exactly what you're going to find at the top of the stats. Draisaitl leading the team in scoring with 7 goals and 10 assists. That's good for 17 points. McDavid right there with the same exact stat line, 7, 10, and 17. And Hopkins, no goals, but 11 assists on the season. Good for 11 points, and Koskinen has had a great start to the season. 5-1, 933 save percentage, 2.21 goals against average. And this Edmonton Oilers team, they are just a group of killers. They have had high expectations for several years now, and they've not been able to meet that demand. But against the Nashville Predators, this top duo has just feasted against the Preds. So in Edmonton especially, this is going to be a tough one. I said Calgary was going to be a buzzsaw, and it in fact was, but UC Saros was able to hold tall. Now, will Connor Ingram be able to do the same in Edmonton against 2 of the best players in the NHL and easily 2 of the best offensive threats of this entire generation? We will have a lot to talk about when we recap that on Renegades of Puck TV. But for right now, we need to go back and take a look at the Preds' most recent game, which is the game against the Calgary Flames that just wrapped up a little bit ago. It was the Preds' first trip of the season to Calgary. And we see the lines breaking out like this. We see Cunnin, Johansson, and Tolvanen on the first line. Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchesne making up your second line. Trenton, Sissons, and Jeannot, of course, the third line. Cousins, Novak, and Tomasino make up your fourth line. Yossi and Favreau, Ekholm, and Carrier, Borowiecki, and Benning. UC Saros gets the start in net. We're just 29 seconds into the game, and we see UC Saros have to come up with a save on Dubie's deflection off of the long shot. That leads to a scrum, and we see a little bit of emotions already in the start of this game. At 2:39, Novak's got a shot attempt, but it does not hit the net for the Nashville Predators. At 4:33, Saros has a long shot after a turnover, and just an incredible follow-up save. At 6:28, Tomasino gets a shot off the rush, but he also misses. At 7:05 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Dubie, plus the jam, plus the scrum. Preds being outshot at the first TV timeout, 7 2-1. The buzzsaw effect is taking over in Calgary. We come back from the TV timeout right off the faceoff. We see Ritchie and Borowiecki go and square off, and Borowiecki gets the KO, and Ritchie did not look well as he had to be helped off of the ice. First time we've seen Borowiecki drop the gloves in quite some time for the Nashville Predators, and this was definitely a one-sided affair. At 9:05 of the first period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Tkachuk off of the rush, and that gives the Nashville Predators an opportunity to take the lead at 10-11 as Luke Kunin's got his first goal of the season. Ryan Johansson, as he has done so well this season, wins the faceoff in the offensive zone straight back to Carrier, who puts the puck towards the net, and Kunin tips that long shot in past Markstrom. Preds with a 1-0 lead on the road in Calgary at 10:51. UC Saros comes with a 5-star save on Gaudreau after he splits the D, draws a penalty in the process on Dante Fabro, who goes to the box 2 minutes before slashing, but going back and revisiting this save, just simply incredible. Just another highlight reel save for UC Saros in the early part of the season. He'd have many highlight reel saves in this first period. On the power play for the Calgary Flames, it would be Tkachuk converting for his 4th goal of the season. The shot hits him while he's setting traffic and battling in front of UC Saros and finds its way into the net. Go to the hard areas, earn those goals. That's exactly what Tkachuk does right here. And Calgary ties the game up at 1 apiece. At 12:19, Saros comes up with a save off of Doobie off the rush, plus the rebound knocked out of the air. Incredible tracking by UC Saros on this one. At 14:13, Saros, another huge one. Partial breakaway by Coleman has to be stopped. Then at 17:12, a save on Tkachuk, and the saves just continue mounting up. And then improbably, before the end of the first period, the Nashville Predators at 18:37, Philip Forsberg just finds the puck on his stick suddenly after a bad turnover by the Calgary defenseman straight to the back of the net. Forsberg's 4th goal of the season, giving the Preds a 2-1 lead. Preds being outshot after the first period 20-9. That is not the formula for going and winning on the road. But the Nashville Predators have weathered the storm, and now coming into the second period, let's see what adjustments they make and what formula they decide to deploy over the final 40 minutes of this game. 29 seconds into the second period, we see Duchesne jam. It is stopped by Markstrom. 55 seconds into the second period, Yossi's off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping. Overall, a decent PK, only giving up 2 shots against by the Nashville Predators. At 3:34, Coleman's off to the box, 2 minutes for cross-checking on Dante Fabro. Was it a sloppy power play or a great penalty kill? Probably a combo of the two. Lots of play between the circles, up and down, but not a lot happening towards the net. As a matter of fact, few whistles and even fewer shots at this point in the second period. Certainly not keeping up the pace that Calgary was in the first. 12:53, Jeannot gets a shot off the rush, stopped by Markstrom. Then UC Saros comes up with a huge save at 14:59, 17:36. Kunin goes off to the box. 2 minutes for slashing. Saros kicks out the pad on a close-range shot attempt and then makes multiple saves as the power play expires, or as we call it, jam denied on the goal line. We hit the end of the second period. Preds are still leading 2-1, now being outshot 28-14. So the Nashville Predators were able to reduce Calgary's shots on goal from 20 in the first period to 8 overall in the second period. And honestly, the Nashville Predators balanced this game out after being under siege the entire first period. They were able to balance things back out. Now going out for a final 20, they hold a 1-goal lead, and at 1:08, it's the captain, Roman Josi, off to the box, 2 minutes for putting the puck over the glass and into the crowd. The penalty kill, though, backs him up. No shots against, and just a very strong effort. Unfortunately, on the continuation after the power play ends, Killington gets his first goal of the season at 3:20. It was a turnover at the blue line by Carrier. One quick pass, and then the back of the net from the face-off dot. You got to give the Calgary Flames credit here. They certainly seized on this opportunity, just like Philip Forsberg did at the end of the first period. We got a brand new hockey game tied at 2 apiece. 4:33, Cousins off to the box. 2 minutes for high sticking, and Doobie is going to pick up a penalty. 2 minutes for interference. We'd see a 4-on-4 for a minute 37, which would lead to a power play for 23 seconds, and honestly, I don't think the Predators even touched the puck during that 23 seconds. 9:49 of the third. Jeannot's got the shot off of the rush. It is stopped by Marks from the Preds, generating a little bit of energy headed into the TV timeout, which is great news for the Nashville Predators. 15:29, Jeannot's off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Another outstanding penalty kill by the Nashville Predators. Now listen, Jeannot was driving the net hard, and he was battling for a puck, and he ends up getting called for a very tough penalty in the offensive zone right there. But the Preds are able to back up the player who has arguably been not only their spirit animal, but easily their best and most consistent player on the ice this entire season. 1939, UC Saros has got to come up with one more big one before the end of regulation. It was a save on a 3-on-2. At the end of regulation, the Nashville Predators have found a way to survive on the opening night of this road trip and pick up that first point. Calgary outshoots Nashville 39-21. Flipping over to the overtime, second overtime game in a row for the Nashville Predators. And at 1:37 of overtime, it's Matt Duchene's third goal of the season. He was gasping for air, but he was able to finish the play as Granlund set him up with the perfect feed. Duchene gets the finish, giving the Preds the 3-2 win in overtime on their 22nd shot of the game. Calgary finishes with 40. This is an impressive effort by the Nashville Predators. UC Saros kept them in this game for the first 20 minutes, and then for the final 40 minutes, we saw a total team effort, and the Nashville Predators playing one of their better overall games. Slowing down this Calgary Flames high-powered offense, that is an impressive job on the first night of this road trip. Now listen, that probably took a lot of energy going to overtime, certainly took a lot of extra gas. So for the Nashville Predators, it's going to be incredibly difficult to go into Edmonton and repeat this same type of effort. You cannot weather the storm like you did in the first period, or you may find yourself well behind the 8 ball, not leading by 1 after the first period. Listen, the guy who held this team in it the entire first period and the entire game, and he ends up having just an absolutely gigantic night. 38 out of 40. I asked UC Saros going into this game in the preview. I challenged him, actually. I said, if you're going to get this win, you're going to have to go ahead and step up bigger than you have all season, and that's what UC Saros did tonight. 38 out of 40, and a numerous amount of highlight reel saves in the first period alone. There's only one man that I need to talk to and hear from when it comes to this performance tonight. 19 out of 20 in the first period. Mostradamus, you are the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck. I need you to tell me what made UC Saros so dynamic tonight in the first period and overall in this game. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. He is, of course, Mostradamus.
Thank you very much, Charlie. The Preds, who would have thought, have now won 4 in a row, have climbed their way above 500 for the first time this season. A 3-2 overtime victory, a thrilling victory up in Calgary. Matt Duchene, the game-winning goal in overtime. But the story of this game was UC Saros. Magnificent performance by him, stopping 38 out of 40 shots, and it sure looked like he had about 60 shots on goal against him. 20 shots on goal in the first period. Could have very easily surrendered 3 or 4 more goals in that first period, and nobody would have blinked an eye because he was absolutely under siege in that first period. He kept the team in it, let them get their legs under them, and eventually the Preds started to even out things. They took some bad penalties, 3 penalties in the third period, really put themselves behind the 8 ball. They killed off the majority of them and got by and got the game to overtime. And then, of course, Matt Duchene with his heroics. So, again, UC Saros 38 out of 40. Jacob Markstrom, 3 goals allowed on just 22 shots. He had surrendered just 1 goal on his last 127 shots before tonight's game, including the fact that he went over 140 minutes without surrendering a goal, period. So the Preds, once again, another game against a goaltender that was red hot coming in. They did it against Sorokin against the Islanders last time in Bridgestone Arena. Came off back-to-back shutouts. Here comes Jacob Markstrom, also off back-to-back shutouts. And the Preds find a way to beat him and get the victory. They snap the Flames' 6-game winning streak. So the Preds now 4 in a row in the W column. And they're not beating slouches. They started this with a 4 against the 4-0 Minnesota Wild. Next game against the 4-1 San Jose Sharks. Next game against the Islanders, who had gone 3-0-1 in their previous 4 games. And now, of course, the Calgary Flames, a 6-game winning streak, and the Preds put an end to that. Tomorrow night, Edmonton looms very large. UC Saros not going to play in that one. It looks like it's going to be Connor Ingram, unless, of course, David Riddick does come off of COVID protocol and will get his first start in a Nashville Predators jersey. The Preds, fantastic work. Again, UC Saros, as far as I'm concerned, should get all 3 stars. Kudos a little bit to Matt Duchene's legs. 1 for the assist on the Philip Forsberg goal, and of course, his legs absolutely feeling like jello in overtime. Just a magnificent performance by him, and the effort to get down ice when he should have been off the ice about a minute before that. Goes down there, saw that it was a 2-on-1, made one last gasp at it, scores the game-winning goal, roofs it over Jacob Markstrom. Markstrom not happy with the no call against the Preds breaking out of their own zone, but a win is a win. You take them any way you can get them with this Nashville Predators team. A gutsy performance by them. Back at it tomorrow against Edmonton. Charlie, back to you.
Thanks so much, Mosh. It was incredible to watch UC Saros step up the way he can as a starting franchise goaltender. Now, we'll get an opportunity to see Connor Ingram in Edmonton and see if he can duplicate the effort that he had, not just with UC Saros in Calgary, but that Connor Ingram had in his first start of the season. Box score time. Let's give you a couple of the particulars. The goals for the Preds in this game were scored by Matt Duchene and Philip Forsberg and Luke Cunnin. Assists for Duchene, 1. Granlund had 2. Johansson had 1. Carrier and Ekholm each with 1 apiece. Your shots leader on goal for the game, Luke Cunnin had 4, and Roman Josi had 3. Hits leaders for the game, Cousins with 3, Tolvanen with 3, and Borowiecki also with 3. Now, time on ice. Want to highlight this. First night of back-to-backs. You want to try to manage those as best as possible. For the most part, the forward grouping kept it very respectable numbers. Philip Forsberg only skating 12-24 in this game. Mikael Granlund, as you would expect, he's been leading this team in time on ice so much lately in the forward grouping. 20-15 in total time on ice. He's the only forward that even came close to approaching 20 minutes. Now, on the defensive side of things, a different story. Roman Josi, as expected, 26-05 in time on ice. You also had Ekholm going at 24-49, Carrier 23-48. So the Nashville Predators' top defenseman certainly put in the minutes tonight. Look forward to a potential lineup change or two going into Edmonton tomorrow. And the penalty kill unit. Listen, Calgary did score a power play goal in this game, but the penalty kill unit only gave up 1 on 6 opportunities. Want to highlight a couple of performances here. Jeannot, 4:30 in time on ice, shorthanded. Benning, 4:03. Carrier, 5:18. And Matthias Ekholm, 5:30 in shorthanded time on ice. Even throwing Mikael Granlund, 3:31 time on ice, shorthanded. That's an incredible amount of hard work that those fellas did out there tonight on the penalty kill, slowing down and stopping one of the top power play units in the entire NHL. And Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchene, you want your top guys to step up in big games. That's exactly what you saw tonight. 2 of the 3 goals for the Preds came from that line, 3 assists, 5 points total, and they generated 6 shots on goal. Not bad for a team that only had 22 shots on goal total. Calgary had 40 shots on goal. Hits, Nashville led Calgary 22-14. Block shots 13-8 in favor of Nashville. Faceoffs 1. The Preds lost this battle tonight, 29-27, even though Johansson had a critical win in the offensive zone, leading directly to a Nashville Predators goal. And the power play for the Preds, 0 for 2 tonight. Calgary was 1 for 6. So the Nashville Predators open up the road trip with a huge 2 points, finding a way to go in and deal with that buzzsaw that is the Calgary Flames. Incredible effort tonight, Nashville Predators. I sure did appreciate getting an opportunity to watch that game, and I look forward to seeing how you handle just tomorrow going into Edmonton and facing off against some of the best offensive talent in the NHL. We'll be right here in the trenches to break it all down for you on Renegades of Puck TV. Remember, you can follow us on all of our different social media platforms. Give us a follow on Twitter at Renegades of Puck. We picked up a whole lot of followers in the last week or two, and you know, Renegades of Puck as an entertainment entity, it's a unique hockey experience. It's a whole brand new thing. So we launched this thing from scratch just 2 months ago, and we're already over 100 subscribers on YouTube, always looking to add more. We're picking up a lot more followers on Twitter. We're picking up new Twitch followers, and we should appreciate each and every one of you. Listen, this is built by Renegades for Renegades, and we're going to do this one Renegade at a time. So jump in the trenches with me. I will not fail you. We will be here to handle this business. Listen, on this quick turnaround and back-to-back, how many people are even going to be talking about the Nashville Predators and this huge victory in Calgary? Do not underestimate how big a victory it is for a team that is not expected to accomplish very much this season. That was a very big victory tonight, and on the CMA road trip, when this team always has its first big chance to gel and come together and develop some of that chemistry, that's a huge game tonight. And UC Saros took another big step in showing why he is the franchise goaltender for this Nashville Predators team. And let's not forget, he is only a few games in to not having Pekka Rinne sitting on the bench, looking over his shoulder, being his mentor, being his friend, being his father figure there for the Nashville Predators. So there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on UC Saros, who has classically started the season very slowly. Tonight was a killer performance by UC Saros to prove why he is one of the tops in the NHL. And while he'll be the Nashville Predators starter for a long time to come. Listen, give us a like and a follow and all of those good things. And Renegades, I sure do appreciate each and every one of you. It's a long couple of days here when the Preds go out in the great Northwest, but I know each and every one of you are jumping in the trenches with me. So I appreciate each and every one of you. For Mastra Adamas and each and every one of the Renegades of Puck, I am your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Sonny. Stick tabs, love, respect.